Rock and roll.
Guys, we're live, and I think it's working. I was on air for a little while before all y'all joined me and was trying to explain what's going on. I have no clue if we're going to get any viewers tonight. This might be just a recorded show, so Chris, we might have you back on and try it again. If y'all can get on, some of y'all get on Facebook and start posting that it's live and we're able to get up. I have started this show so many times doing the exact same thing over and over and over again, and nothing I tried worked. Finally, when I open up the show, I can go up here, and y'all, I don't know if y'all can do it, but I got a little button up here. When you take your mouse to the top of the page, it says invite people, and I copied that link and posted it, and that one worked. But usually I can just take, if anybody's ever been in a Hangout before, usually you can just take the top link that appears across the top of the thing, copy it and paste it, and I've done that hundreds of times before. I mean, not hundreds, I ain't had no 100 shows, but you get my point. Nothing worked. Oh well. I had a fantastic, wonderful day, and then it all went to hell.
Well, you've got 11 viewers now, so.
Well, we've caught a few of them, and I had some great things I needed to talk about and tell everybody. It's like, oh, geez. Yeah, the one night, and then my sponsor, guess what? My sponsor's watching the show tonight. I bet he's, yeah, my sponsor,
he was watching the show tonight.
Yeah, give me 1 second, please. Bear with me one more second so I can text him. He said, is the show going to be on?
We only got 30 more minutes now. Come on.
Hey, we'll go over.
I could talk fast.
Chris, we'll go over. That's no problem. I don't have a problem with going over. I've done it before. And let me give me 1 second to turn this air conditioner off. I'm actually starting to get frostbite in here.
Air conditioning. It's snowing this morning.
Yeah.
I need the air conditioner here.
I wish there was snow here. It's been running in the 80s all week, so I'm sorry about that. But hey, we got 15 viewers. Thank you. I'm going to try to get over here on YouTube and see if I can pull it. Dave, my man, is there any? I don't even have. Let me refresh this page. I don't even have a chat section over here.
We got 15 watching right now, Russ.
Okay. Well, if you can monitor that, because of right now, I don't even see the chat section. So.
But your lighting is fantabulous.
Yeah, the lighting is just wonderful.
You're never going to let me live that down, are you?
Well, I say that because Chris got new lights too, so and his is very, very nice.
I'm trying right now to attempt to get into the show and see if I got it open now. It opened up over here. This time I'm in the chat section. So, man, I was sitting here going, all right, guys. I apologize, and I swear I've done this every time, and I know I'm repeating myself, and it always works. The only time I've ever had a problem inviting anybody into the show was Sean Rubino that one night. Remember how we worked on that before the show trying to get him in? Mm-hmm. And I did the same thing I did tonight. Was there's a little button up here where you can push on Google Hangouts and say invite people, and I did that and took that link and sent it to him, and it worked. So that's what I did tonight, and actually it opened it up and worked. So, man, I've had a fantastic, wonderful day, and this is not the ending that I wanted, but at least we're here and talking. So. Chris, as we go over tonight, I hope you can hang over. It's no big deal, no problem since we're starting late. You okay to hang on for a little while extra tonight?
I'm on vacation. I don't work in the morning.
Okay, great. We'll party all night till the cows come home. So great. All right, guys. Let me get my thoughts, and I left my notes inside. So let me get my thoughts clear. First thing I need to say is, I'll do this first. Let me turn this so you can actually see it. Got a brand new sticker. Zach and from get it over here right. Zach from NVWoodworks.com. He sent me a new sticker today. Great. Go over and check out his site, NVWoodworks.com. He makes acrylic pen blanks, and I thought, no, I missed. I bought some from him, and I wanted to come. I show him, and I forgot them too. So, geez, it's all going great tonight. So, all right, forgot the pen blanks. Number 2, I have posted on Facebook earlier this week, and I hope you've had the opportunity. But if you have not, I have a brand new look to my website. www.simplywoodencreations.com. If you will go there, you will notice it's not that same looking site. The site that I built before, which all was mine, it didn't look that great, and I admit it. I'll tell you right off the bat. I was contacted by Frank, and I won't say his last name. I don't know if he wants me to, but he's going to be on the show before it's all over with and said and done. But I was contacted by Frank from Devobel Technologies.com, DevobelTechnologies.com. See, I'm trying to remember all this, and he wanted to become a sponsor of mine. He watches my YouTube. He watches my shows. He likes it and asked me if he could create a new website for me. And he's become my brand new sponsor, and he created that website that you see right now. And there is absolutely no way in this world that I could ever have created anything that wonderful and fantastic. So to Frank and Devobel, .com, I want to say thank you very much. Go to devobel.com. They do web hosting, website builds, all of your website needs. I'm going to say that, and he's going to say, well, we don't do everything, but go there if you need a website and look him over and give him an opportunity. They are fantastic. Look what they did for me. It's fantastic. Another thing that I want to tell you is he's not only done that, but he wants to hook up with me, and we're going to have a website giveaway. He has offered to build someone out there, and once we have the contest going and started, to build them a website, brand spanking new, custom built just for you, whoever you are. Same thing. You get the free website, you get free hosting, you get free email, just like me, free everything to one of my followers or creators out there that are watching. So. Continue to watch. It will be in the future. I know it was going to be sometime in April or May. We haven't set an exact date at this time because, number one, the Atlanta show's coming up, and I plan on going to that. So when I'm not even going to, and I know everybody's wondering, I'm not going to have a show that weekend, the Atlanta date, which is, if everybody can remind me, what is that, the April 2nd. Yeah, we're not going to have a show April 2nd. But after April 2nd and we come back and start having shows, I'm going to get with Frank from Devobel, and we're going to set up for a contest, and it will probably be about a 2 to 3, 4 week contest prior, so everybody has a chance to enter. And then we'll do it just much like Dave did with his contest. We'll have a show one night. We'll have Frank come on the show, and we'll give somebody a brand new website. If you don't have a website, we'll give you one, and if you have one, you'll get a totally remakeover, and we'll transfer it over to him. You get free web hosting, free email, free everything. So I want to applaud Frank for doing that for me. Really nice guy. So that being said, the website giveaway, new website, I think that's pretty well all. Other than the fact that I went to the woodworking show today in Tampa, I had a fantastic time today. Got to see Laney Shaughnessy, great. Broke the bank. Bought some stuff for probably a pen press, which is a very good pen press. An incredible sale on it. I've been looking for a jaws for my lathe and did not have any ideas to what the adapter would be, but I ended up getting a chuck for my lathe, and they told me what adapter I needed, and guess what? They were right. It worked. So got that, and got a bunch of other stuff. I've been wanting to sharpen my chisel, so I got a honing gauge to sharpen my chisel. So, yeah, I come home broke. So I don't know if I can go to Atlanta or not. Just kidding, just kidding. So with that being said, had a great time. Met a bunch of great people over there. Met 2 of my followers. They called me out, just said, "Hey, you're Russ," and I went like, "Yeah." And it was awesome. I couldn't have to be recognized, and then for to say that, I tell you what, I was overwhelmed, and I'm humbled by the fact that I actually met 2 people that watch me, and to know that I'm doing something that other people like and watch and enjoy is a feeling that you can never, ever imagine. It is really fantastic. So with all that being said, let's go down the line and introduce everybody real quick, and I'll quit babbling about myself, and we'll start from my left to the right. And Chris, you're not first tonight. We're going first on my left is Braxton. So Braxton, tell us where we can find you and introduce yourself.
Thanks for having me, Russ. I'm glad I finally got a Saturday off, so I can.
Yeah.
But I'm Braxton Worthland. You can find me on YouTube under Braxton Worthland, or on my website, which is the same, braxtonworthland.com.
Great. And now, Chris, every night you just seem to fall. I'm going to go from right to left one night and freak you out, so you'll know that. But go ahead, Chris.
You really should save the best for the last, but that's okay. Anyways, I'm Chris Demetrick. You can find me on Facebook under Old Cranky Workshop, or on YouTube under Chris the Wheeler. Happy St. Patrick's Month to all you out there. So, and that's about it. Oh, and by the way, I got some sticker love in the mail today. So.
Oh, great! You got it.
Got a great.
You know how long you've been waiting on? How many months have you been waiting on that?
Well, you know, the good things are worth waiting for. So.
All right. Well, that's true. And I want to say, Frank. So there's no letting the. It's out of the bag now. Frank Condon. He's over there my sponsor is in the chat section. He's chatting with people. So Frank. Thanks. Glad to have you over there. He said he was going to watch tonight, and I told him I was going to introduce it. And I'm sorry that the show got messed up in the beginning. Isn't that great? I have a brand new sponsor, and it's a flash and show day, and everything gets messed up. But Frank's over there, and he's chatting with people right now. And so great to have you over there, Frank. And I tell you what, I could not be any happier and any tickled. And you know I'm babbling, but he's my sponsor, so I got to do this. So, but the website is absolutely, if you ask me, fantastic. They took that sticker that Chris Ahern just showed and turned that into a embossed thing. Yeah, that sticker right there, turned it into an embossed emblem on the front of my first homepage, and I was like, holy crap. I took it one step further and asked him, hey, can I have that little emblem right there and that thing you made for me? And I made business cards using that. So I got some brand new business cards with that emblem. So, all right, next in line is Mr. Dave Gatton. Go ahead and tell us where we can find you.
Thank you, Russ. My name's Dave Gatton. You can find me on YouTube under Dave Gatton, and you can also find me on Facebook as Dave Gatton.
And you have Sidewinder CNC and also Garage Works CNC.
Yeah, that other orange one. What is it? Garage Works?
Garage.
Yeah.
That other orange one. I seen that monster you got that you built out there in that garage, buddy.
Yeah, she's running sweet too.
I bet she is. When I come to Atlanta, I want you to load it up in my Patriot truck, and we'll talk about the payment like I told you it would be free, right?
We'll see. We'll talk about it.
All right. And next is Donald Matthews from Donald Vloxfly's Woodshop.
Howdy. Well, he said I'm Donald Matthews. My YouTube channel is Donald Vloxfly's Woodshop. My Twitter, and Instagram is all there on the YouTube channel, and I have a website, redneckknowhow.com.
Great. John, go ahead and tell us where we can find you.
Well, about the only place you can find me is on Facebook under my name, John Schaffner. One of these days I'm going to get my YouTube going. I swear to God I will.
You will, or I'm going to come where you're at and kick you in the butt.
Well, you're welcome to.
Okay, so.
Try.
And then, try. But you're welcome to try. All right, and then Russ is not here, so we'll jump over to Tommy Gonzalez.
Yeah, my name's Tommy Gonzalez, and you can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all under Tommy G Workshop.
Great. And I guess we'll wait on Russ. Russ, I don't know where. It says he left the group and joined the group. Russ Meadows. Anyway, that's the evil Russ, and since he's not here, I can talk about him. He's very evil. So, anyway, let's get down to business. And next is, and I'm going to lock on you right now, Christopher or Chris, which would you prefer?
Yeah, it was Chris. It's fine.
Okay. Demetrick. And you know, when the last show Charles was on, we were talking about, I think I said Demetrick or whatever, and he goes, no, it's a metric, just like the metric system. So yeah, I remembered that tonight.
I always say the metric system. That's
yep. Great. Glad to have you on. And I know you do a variety. You not only do woodworking, but you do a variety of stuff with like what you're going to do tonight, the Cricut and labels, and even showed that, I thought it was real neat, that new little vacuum system that you got that you used in the kitchen the other day.
A sealer for the for like groceries and meat and stuff like that. A vacuum sealer, but its pistol grip looks like a drill almost, and you can't pass that up, man. Being a woodworker, I love it. I love using that thing. I don't know. What I'm finding is that I'm doing more and more videos where I find myself in the shop, but it's not necessarily a woodworking project, and that's where my last video was explaining, hey, I find myself in the shop for lots of reasons, not just simply woodworking, and I want to kind of expand on that a little bit. But that's the only change that I've done. If you're looking for me, the best thing to do is just Google my name, Christopher Demetrick. Anything that's important are the first 5 or 6 things that come up. As a matter of fact, I just made up new cards that say Google, search, and my name, and that's the easiest way to find me.
Great. And I'd just like to take one moment to say we have a very good amount of people. Right now we got 29 people watching. Great. You hung on, and I'm sorry for, like I said, the delay and the problems we were having in the beginning. But we're here, and we're going to do a good show, and we got Chris. And Chris, you're going to do something on about the Cricut, right?
Yeah, one of the things that I found is I'm always kind of enjoying different tools, things that are maybe not traditionally woodworking tools, but I find themselves doing in the shop. Well, I had an opportunity to get one of these Cricut machines. This is a cutting machine. There's 2 companies who make it. There's a Provo Craft makes the Cricut cutter, and the Cameo makes the Silhouette. And what they do is it's a way of being able to, on the computer, you go to their site, and you have prefabbed, give me a second here. Yeah, you either can have prefabbed, like designs, or you can make things like circles and squares and triangles and all, lettering and stuff. And what I found myself is using it in the shop quite a lot, and it's actually it's a fun tool for things to create patterns for. Things to do. I mean, you can cut things like paper and cardstock. You can cut vinyl sheets to do decals for the walls or for the vehicles or whatever you might want to use it for. I use it for making signs. This is, signs like this where I just stick it on a piece of wood. And for shows, stuff like that. I'll give you an example of use of vinyl here. It's just a simple tree on a piece of pallet wood, which people eat that up, and I stick a magnet on there, and it's $5 all day long, and I sell those at shows when I go to a couple times a year.
Now, I have a quick question for you. Being the fact that's vinyl and it's on the Cricut machine, I'm assuming that this is all interior. The stuff that you make is going to be interior. It's not going to be for exterior use.
I have a vinyl decal I've had with my phone number and woodworking on my vehicle for 2 years or a year or so, a year and a half.
Really?
Yeah, because you buy vinyl. When you buy it, like I'll show you some of the sheets that I buy. Is you can either get it in rolls, and you can get rolls of vinyl here that is either a flat black or shiny black or white or whatever color you want, and you buy it whether it's going to be. They rate it like 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, and then there's indoor and outdoor. And because it's vinyl, nothing gets into it, so it's not like water can get underneath it. But a lot of the times what I find myself doing is buying pre-cut vinyl sheets of all different colors, and you just buy random colors, and you'll come up with neat designs. I have cut, a lot. I do a lot of paper cutting because I make patterns out of it. So because you can cut paper and vinyl, you can also do vinyl heat transfer, which is iron-on. So you can do iron-on T-shirts if you're promoting your site or your woodworking. If you want to do, I got tote bags for the holidays, like 4 of them, and I put our family name on it, and it gave everybody tote bags with a little, with a little iron-on decal on there. You can also put in the machine, you can actually put a pen in there so it can draw out for you. So if you need to make a sign or whatnot. An example of vinyl is, this is what I did with my vinyl. But
one second, you've had that same success by applying things to wood and leaving them outside?
Yeah, because if you think about,
I'm just, the reason I say that, it astonishes me because, when you think of that Cricut machine and they sell them at Walmart, they sell them at these other places, I don't think of it as being something that would be, I know what you're talking about as being more permanent, but I always thought it being something more like a label maker that would fade or wipe off, or you know what I'm saying, it's not going to be permanent.
Yeah, here's a vinyl sign that I made where I just took palette. But if you think about it, vinyl is water resistant, so it could rain on that all day and night. And what I should do is put it outside and let it stay out for 6 months and nothing. It's pallet wood, so it's used to being out there. So I could hang that on my door at the Halloween, and it could get rained on. It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't really.
That's fantastic. That opens up a whole, to me, I'm thinking to myself, that opens up a whole new world as far as being able to do things with that Cricut machine. Like I said, I always thought it was being like limited in what you could do with it.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. My wife actually has one, and I never considered using it for stuff like that because, like Russ, I thought it was, I didn't know you could do all that stuff with it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I've had people have success cutting very thin veneer on it. Now, it doesn't really work well on the Cameo, but yes, you could cut veneer with the Cricut. I have got a piece that was a little thicker than it should be. Buying some veneer online, I'm going to try that. But I've seen people do that where they'll add it to their project. But one of the things that I found really useful is that, these hooks that you use, the oven pullers. I don't know if you've seen them before. Steve Ramsey did a little video on these oven pullers. I wanted to sell them at a show, so that was an example of a sign that I made, where I made the label, I had the letter, and because when it prints it out, everything is perfectly level and evenly spaced. I added on, so this is paper, so I added some on there, and a little picture I did there. So, but making these little signs, and as a matter of fact, what I did is I stuck pipes behind them so I could stand it up behind it. But making signs like that for your business, here's another example. TDW Woodworks is me, so I made this and mounted it. And that's all with paper, and I mounted it to that corrugated plastic. And I'll take that and I throw a neodymium magnet on the back of it, and I'll take that to a show, and I can attach that pretty much anywhere. And so that's my little. And of course, if I ruin it, what the heck? I can just make another one.
That is awesome. I'm telling you, that little Cricut machine. They're like $300, I think, at Walmart. You can find them on sale or whatever. I never, ever imagined that it would open the door to be able to do so much.
These are some paper ones that, if you created these things in wood, it would be easily. Like what I say is these are already completely put together, but you can imagine redoing this, and instead of gluing it all together, using them as a pattern to cut out, wood grain. These are just examples of some of the things that I had done recently. I usually, what I end up doing is I put these at my desk when I go into my work once a week, and someone likes them, I give them away. But being a child of the '60s, I kind of like to make a lot of like you might realize what this is here. Let's take a look. You can see that's the Woodstock. I don't have the beak right there, but that's the Woodstock logo. But I thought I would try one out. It's I've used it for labeling things as well, like Russ said, but I've used it for decals, just cutting simple shapes. What if you want to make a perfect circle that's exactly 2 and 12 64 inches, whatever it is, you can cut it exactly and make the size you want. It's all done with software. The funny thing about it is it's all web-based. It's not like software you have to load to the computer. So if I'm at work, I can play around on my iPad and come up with the design. When I get home, I turn the machine on, load it, and go.
Wow.
So, fun. It's cool. What questions do you have?
I have 1,000, but start off on the panel. I've already run my gator enough tonight, so.
I'm going to run a sample here.
Yeah, I had one. I think you might have just answered it, though. I was going to ask, how you get the different logos that you print out and stuff, but you said it's just all web-based?
Yeah. The thing is, I'm a Corel kind of guy, so I do, I can do something in Corel Draw and then turn it to an SVG, which is a sizable vector graphic. Once it's an SVG, any SVG I create, I can then print it out. I can cut it with the logo, with the Cricut, and like for tonight, I made this one, a nice simple. Russ, you'll like that one, Russ.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
So if you think about it, I made it, and it's this big, and it's kind of neat. But you're like, hey, I'd like to make that into a sign. So you're not stuck by having it to be 12 by 12. You can buy these 12 by 24 sheets to cut through it, because what you're doing is you're backing it, you're putting your paper on this, and then running it through the machine. And I will give you an example. But you figure with that size, you can easily make a sign, and even if you needed to make it bigger than that, you could do it in 2 parts. And I was going to make a sign that was 3 feet wide, and I made all the letters except for the last 2, and then I just printed those separate. But let me give you an example here. I can go to the site, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take this sheet, which it's probably seen better days, and it's got a little bit of stickiness, so it won't fall out of there. And if it's getting really bad, then it's time to replace it with a fresh one. And what I'll do is I'm going to turn it on and get it ready to load up. Now, I wish I could do a screen share to show you the shot, but if you go to the Cricut, you can kind of get an idea of what it is. But let me go ahead and hit go. And I wish I had 2 cameras like Russ does, but... So let me see if I can get a little closer to it. All right.
You may not have a good enough lighting for 2 cameras like Russ does.
All right, so it's flash. Go ahead.
If I live to be 1,000, I'm never going to outlive that. So unless all y'all die first.
Let's see if it
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. Sorry, it's going to have to let it grab it here. A moment. All right, so there we go. I think it's get a better shot there now. Unfortunately, I don't have 2 monitors down here. I only have the one, so there we go. So it's flashing, which tells me it's ready to go. I want to make sure it's secure. And what's happened in here is this cartridge has a really, really sharp needle kind of pointer that I guess it could be replaced. I've been using for mine for 6 months. I haven't replaced it yet. And it cuts through the machine, so I'm going to let it go, and it's going to start its cutting process. And let me bring it a little closer here. And what you'll see is as it's moving the paper, or in this case it's just paper, not vinyl, is it's cutting along the line of the pattern. And basically you go on, it's pretty quick. It's not really a long wait period. And it'll do its thing, and when it's done, I'll pull the pattern off of there. Now if it's vinyl, you're going to have to do what's called weeding the vinyl, which means you're going to remove all of the empty spots. Like I'll give you an example is on this one, I got Spock here I did in paper, is the paper comes out, but I have to take away this part of it. And because it's this paper, it just pulls right off. But if it's vinyl, it's backed on a backer, and you'll have to peel that off. So that's the part. Now, of course, I could take this pattern and bring it over to the scroll saw and cut that out and peel it off and be done with it. And if you do it with vinyl, vinyl is removable. So I could cut that pattern out on a piece of vinyl, attach it to a piece of wood, go to the scroll saw, cut all out the negative or the positive, whichever way I want to do it, and then pull off the vinyl, and now I've got a perfectly cut. Now I'll give you an example. Is I did this, which this guy, which is me, and I took this with the intention of bringing it over to the scroll saw and cutting it out with you know, with just following the lines. But I thought it came out kind of sharp and kind of neat. So what I did is I mounted it to a, you know, to a piece of Luan and then just made a basic frame. And I could see you doing different. Well, let's see. This one's all done now. Let's see what this one looks like. So this is what it looks like here. We're going to pull out all of the negative spots. We're going to pull off all of this. And what we have is, some might recognize Jimi Hendrix there.
That is awesome.
So now I could take that and bring it over to the scroll saw, or I could mount it to a board. I could sell it. I could put Hendrix, or I could maybe do it along with my Woodstock logo, and that I could see that selling for the show. It took us all of what, maybe 2 or 3 minutes to cut it, and that's repeatable, and it's simple enough. And which is kind of neat is sometimes you can take the negative space and do something with that too, which is kind of neat.
You know what? I've been hesitant to buy one. My wife has talked about buying one and everything else, and well, you're a good. We need to get you in touch with whoever owns Cricut for a promotion guy because I'm going to buy one now.
That looks like it'd be cool for making stencils for my sandblast and glass etching thing.
I bet you.
I had to consider that sand, you know, about to get like just a cheap Harbor Freight, doing some sandblasting with it, and I've thought about that would be kind of a fun project to at least experiment with. But man, anybody who does that, I'm sure it would work great for it.
Yeah, because you don't need much to keep the sand away. Like as far as when you're doing on glass, it's very light. So
yeah, because you're only taking a light pass across it. You're not digging into it.
Yeah, you're not trying to like remove rust or any big, you know.
Yeah. And like the system I got, the paper, the wash-away paper, that stuff's expensive.
I took the log and just took off slices of a log, and then I just put basic Christmas ornaments on them. So I sold these right before the holiday for $5 or $6 each. And like I say, you just print out a bunch of those, and so you know it's kind of fun. But I don't know, I've utilized it in more ways than I thought I would, and it's kind of like my bandsaw here. You know, I am a woodworker. I need a bandsaw, and I got it with the intention of using it for certain things. But I use it for stuff I never imagined thought I would be using it for. And that's sort of the way that I feel about any kind of cutter machine is that, shoot, I had somewhere to go, and I had to make a nice business card on the computer. But I said, you know what would be kind of cool to cut that card out in a logo. So I went and I cut 4 business cards out with a kind of neat little scalloped edge, you know, on it. And, you know, it's kind of nice for making patterns and shapes and, you know, words and letters and stuff like that. It's another example of just cutting it out and then deciding whether I wanted to cut it in wood or just make the frame to do it. But anyways, you'll end up finding yourself buying a lot of paper for crafting, but it's definitely a woodworking thing.
So the you can go 24 inches. You say 24 inches, I believe, was wide.
Yep.
And so 24 inches wide, and basically, I'm not going to say the sky's the limit, but you could do 2 or 3 foot without any problem.
Yeah. See, if I did a sign that I wanted to make big, I'd do the letters like this. I might do 3 or 4 letters, and then I would just run another one. You don't have to make my word unless it's, you know, if it's one solid pattern. But I saw somebody do a Star Wars figure of some sort, and they did it like this, and they did it in like 2 parts. But what I'm finding myself is I use it for making patterns, like full-size patterns. If I wanted to make a leg, how would I make the pattern? But I'm like, where do I get paper that size? So on my outfeed table, I don't know if you can tell it, but I just use this paper. So what I'll do is I roll out a sheet of this brown paper that you'll buy for, you know, wherever you do it. And this is perfect cheap paper to make patterns out of. I just roll it out a piece. I actually, when I sell things online and I ship, I'm a person that likes to send out a nice, neat-looking package. So no matter what box I use, I always wrap my packages in a brown paper because I just think it looks good. And then I'll, you know, because I've been selling these beading looms, I guess jewelry makers saw the video I did where I made a loom for somebody to do beading work with. and once a month I get somebody who asks for one, and I sell them and ship them off, and they're not so made with pallet wood. It's really not a whole lot of cost involved. But when I ship them out, I always put their name or their logo on there, or a flower or whatever it is, and I think that's kind of just a little bit of a touch that you would add to something that maybe somebody else wouldn't, and they remember that. So I wrap them in the brown paper, and then I'll just put like a heart or something like that, and I stick that on there when I put it together.
Anybody else? Any questions? Actually, what you're talking about kind of reminds me of Dave just unmuting himself. It reminds me of Dave's CNC machine in a way, because Dave's CNC machine might be limited as to the width of the product, like 24 or 48 or whatever his machine, but he can tile it and run it like a long length. Is that not right, Dave?
Yeah, that's correct. And the question I had for Chris, I was going to ask him, is there more than one size model of that Cricut?
They all seem to be the same size when it comes to length and width. It's just the higher end model that you pay a little extra for can cut deeper than the other models, and it's use any vector graphic you want. And the new software, I mean, to be honest, I made a cabinet, and the back of the cabinet was all white. I said it would be kind of neat to have some trees in there. So I just went to Google, and I found a vector graphic of like a tree line, and I saved it to my computer. I went to the Cricut software, I loaded it up, and it printed out a long little tree lineup. So I said, well, that's kind of cool. I did it in vinyl. I stuck it on there. If I don't like it in 6 months or a year, I just pull them off and do something different. You know?
1 second. Over there, Wood Shop, he just put at me, and it doesn't, he said, sorry, but what is, I think he's saying, what is this person's YouTube channel I want to subscribe? So I think he's talking about you, Chris. So what is your YouTube, I'll get it out right in a second, YouTube channel?
So my YouTube channel is, you could search out Christopher Demetrick, which would find me. But if you looked at the Dems World, that will find me, or TDW Woodworking. TDW standing for the Dems World. So TDW. But if you do TDW Woodworks, or if you do the Dems World, that should find me. It's just when I started, my nickname being last name is Demetrick. Now my last name, D-E-M-E, and then the word trick. So my buddy would always call me, it's the Dem, or hey Dem, what's up Dem? So when I started my channel, I said, oh, it's my world, the Dems World. But then I realized about a year into that I'm like, nobody knows what I'm talking about. They think I'm a Democrat or something. It's like, so I'm like, I got to change it. So that's when I came up with this TDW, because I can do TDW Woodworks or TDW Design. Being an artist, you know, who knows? I do a lot of other things other than woodworking, but it all kind of ends up in the shop. But I've been doing some origami. I think what's called, modular origami, where you make these small patterns, you put them together and make these globes. You'll see them online. And, someone says, oh, would you teach us a class? You know, we got this group of women that get together and do crafting. Would you come over and teach us? So I'm like, oh, sure. And I'm like, oh, I'll make a brochure for that. TDW crafting, or whatever it might be. So that's kind of how I try to market myself. But yeah, as a matter of fact, one of the things I thought I would mention today was interesting is I wanted to see when I started posting videos to YouTube. And my first post ever of a woodworking project was I did like a cheap kitchen remodel, and that was on March 19th, 2011. That's exactly 5 years to today. So today has been 5 years. As of today, it was my first sort of woodworking home improvement kind of video. So I thought that was kind of fun to do the in the shop with Russ on my 5-year anniversary with YouTube. But it was about 2014 before I really started, doing more weekly shows and stuff.
So this is your 5th year anniversary today on the show?
Today, March 19th, 2011 is when I posted my first video.
Well, how about that? Everybody, come on. Happy anniversary.
And I've just hit 4,700 subscribers. I'm getting close to 48, so I'm going to hit 5,000, I think, within the next couple months.
That would be great. Fantastic.
Now, I have a question. Sorry, Russ, to cut you off.
No, go ahead. I was going to say, anybody got a question?
Yeah, I have a question. I just actually ran in and asked my wife, what kind of Cricut she has. She has a Cricut Expression 2, and I know she said something about you can take cartridges, but I wasn't sure if that was the only thing, so I'm going to have to research that and see if I can get logos off the internet or make my own logos for it, like you said, SVGs, or if that one's only a cartridge machine.
Yeah, the Expression, well, I think what I did, because I researched it a little bit today, was that right now they're doing a trade-up, because you got to get one of the Explorer Airs or Explorer 1 or Air that will take any graphic that you could create. The older models won't. So what they're doing is they're doing some big trade-in deal where they're giving you $50 or $100 for your old, or $50 for your old one to trade up for a new one. You sign them your old one. So that might be, if you've got an older version, that might be the way to go.
Yeah, I was going to say, I remember a friend of mine that had one of those, the Expressions like Braxton was talking about, and if I remember right, that one only took cartridges, and it had a limited amount of what was on the cartridge as to what the design that you could print out. So I remember that, Braxton. But
a quick question. Go back to put it on the pallet wood, the vinyl, kind of vinyl on pallet wood. You don't have any problem with water getting behind the vinyl and peeling down?
Can you repeat that?
If you put you do a vinyl decal or sticker, or whatever you want to call it, and you put it on pallet wood and put it outside, there's no problem with the water getting in behind the vinyl?
No, I've really never had that as an issue. It's always, if you have a bigger decal, like I did a bigger decal, so what I did is I sprayed up some water with a little bit of soap in it, like a drop of Dawn, and I sprayed it on there until it was completely super saturated. And then I put my vinyl decal on there. I kind of peeled it off and put it on there. And I kind of slid it to where I wanted. I got all the air bubbles out. And then I just let it dry naturally. And because of that stickiness to it, it attached to it, and it's been on there for almost a year until I got the new car. So, but yeah, no, it never. The only thing is I have some bubbling. So what I'll do is I'll take a pin and just hit the bubble, and it takes it out. But really, water's never been an issue. If you see any graphic on any car, most all of them are going to be vinyl anyways. No different than what you buy.
No, right. I imagine the texture of the wood will give a place for water to get behind.
Yeah, I guess I guess it would. I guess I never really had an issue. I've had one where I had such a bad hole, I put a slit in it and I closed it. I figured water would get in there, but it just repelled it.
Oh, good. Cool.
The other thing that you have to keep in mind is Michael's, the craft stores, and Joint Fabrics or whatever, the Hobby Lobby. All of those places have those 40% off one item, but if you read the details, it says not available on Cricut or Silhouette. Never is. You will never get a deal. Like I said, oh great, I'll go buy myself a $300 Cricut and get $40, 40% off. Not even the pens, all of their little. Like I want to get a little spatula for wiping off the vinyl, and none of it. They never put it on sale where you can use one of those coupons. So
it's like anything you want. The sale price never includes the things you want.
yeah, exactly. So I got lots of paper and stuff like that. So
cool.
I got a lot of people over there, and if we miss it tonight, if everybody will remind me, including you, Chris, after the video closes, like tomorrow or whatever, I'll put Chris's a link to his YouTube channel into the information section underneath so that y'all can find it. And I just posted it over there in the chat section because I had several people, and a lot of people are saying they're subbing to you tonight, Chris, so I expect a little monetary,
Well, you're such a good technical, technician. When you had no problems, no issue, it was very smooth opening.
Yeah,
so you're well worth it. I'll give you 10% of that.
Okay, but anyway, yeah, so that was fantastic. And then Mark Deckard, he's over there in the chat section. I got to point him out. The reason I do that is Mark is a fellow firefighter, and I posted his picture on YouTube or Facebook today. He's a fellow firefighter, and from the same Polk County Fire Department that I was fire rescue that I was from and retired from, and he'd heard my name, and he's a friend of several other friends on Facebook, and then he's seen my picture on Facebook, and then he's been watching YouTube woodworking videos, and he stumbled across my YouTube working video, and then today he was like, he said the other day he put two and two together, and he asked a couple of my friends, he goes, "Wow, this guy Russ, do y'all know him?" And they said, "Yeah, that he used to work for us and everything." So he put it together. So lo and behold, I'm walking down the aisle at the Tampa Woodworking Show, and he walks up and he goes, "Are you Russ?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I know you. I watch your shows, and you used to work for the fire department. I used to work the same place." And I'm like, wow. So Mark, I'm just saying hi to him over there because he posted. He said he was going to watch the show tonight, and I think that's fantastic. When you actually get to meet somebody out in public, and they say you watch you and they like you and everything, and then tonight he joined us on the chat, and he's over there chatting with us. Thanks, Mark. I really appreciate it. Thanks to all y'all guys. I mean, I'm sorry I'm battling on. Just go ahead, Chris. It's your show too.
No, I appreciate that.
Well, I mean, have you ever had the opportunity? I'll ask you that. Have you ever had the opportunity to meet somebody that said, "Hey, I saw you or watched you on YouTube, and I like your show," or whatever?
No, that really hasn't happened.
Oh.
Not for social books, and I've said off. But that hasn't happened at all.
Oh, it happened to me twice today, and I'm blown away. Trust me.
As a matter of fact, what's kind of cool is I've got one of my supervisors at work from years and years ago. He's really into that woodworking, but he doesn't really get to do it. So he kind of, he's like woodworker by proxy. I saw that video you did, and that's really cool. Or how'd you do that? And then he took down a big cherry tree in his backyard that he had these big logs, and he goes, "Chris, I got something for you." And I'm like, "What?" And I went out to his car, and he gave me a couple of these cherry tree logs that he had split, and I thought that was kind of neat. And so that's about the closest it gets. Or I get requests to do a video of something, like someone goes, like I was telling somebody I wanted to make a green screen, for doing video editing, and someone goes, "Would you post a video for that?" And I'm like, well, it's not really woodworking, but yet I'm in the shop, and that's kind of why, I kind of like doing like a variety of things, because it's already one person that already says, "I bought the material, I'm ready to make one," and so I made the chroma key screen, and that was my last video I did, and I gave a lot of people some ideas, and I think that's kind of the one thing I enjoy is that for my YouTube site, I don't say, "This is how you do it, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. I like to say, "This is what I did, and this is what I used," and maybe you'll come up with your own idea, but that's sort of my train of thought when I do videos is, "Hey, this is something I'm doing, I thought you'd get a kick out of it," kind of thing.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm excited. We got still 38, 39 people watching. This is fantastic, and I never knew how powerful the little Cricut machine was for the amount of money you paid. What for the Explorer, the new version? How much was it? How much do you?
I remember that. Now, I don't know whether they do this for everybody, but when I was ready to buy my Cricut at $299, I said, or $279, I think is what the average rate is I contacted Provo Craft, who makes the Cricut, and says, "Look, I'm a YouTuber. I'm going to use it. I'm going to show people about it. Come on, do you want to work something out?" Hoping that they might sponsor me or provide one, but they don't do that. They have the sharing program in which if I put a link on a site, someone buys it through that link, that I'm supposed to get credit, which I don't really care about, to be honest. But what she did says is, if you want to join, any purchase you want, you'll get 30% off your first purchase. I go, "Can I use that towards a Cricut machine?" So it was like $279 plus 30% off, and if you are quick with math, you'll know exactly how much I paid. But it seems to be about $280 is about the going rate when they're on sale.
Yeah, I was going to say, if I remember right, I saw them in Walmart for around that price. So I'm guessing around $300 would be a good price to buy one.
Well, I found that I don't do craft shows but once a year. Sometimes I've considered doing a second one, but I've made that money back easily because what I did is I do a lot of these signs, just just basic, simple little signs that are easy to make, and people like that stuff because it's personal, like the one I showed you with this and stuff. And it's really quick and easy to make, and they're, like I said, they kind of make their money back. But I don't know.
Hey, Russ.
Yes.
I have the Cricut website up side by side here, and it looks like right now they're having, I guess it's some kind of sale because they're like $241.
Oh wow!
No, they've come down quite a bit. I saw that because the Explorer Air is what I have, which means that I did have one negative thing I can say. The negative thing is if I wanted to take this to my campsite, and I don't know why I would do that, but say I'm in a cabin out in the middle of the Adirondacks, which I go up camping, and I want to bring this and I want to spend my weekend making art and printing out stuff, I have no way of doing that because this requires internet access. The software is internet-based. So that's the one thing is if you don't have internet, this is a brick. It means nothing. And that's the difference between the one he has, Braxton, because they can put a cartridge in and still print out, where this is the Explorer Air, AIR. It has to have internet access, and the new Explorer 1 has to have internet access. That's the only negative thing about it that I can say.
Well, I mean, it has that's a little negative, but if you look at the positives, it totally outweighs it. So
You couldn't save the files you needed onto your computer and do it from your computer instead of from the internet?
No, because that, think of it like, well, I guess this would be a bad example, is that for people that had I'm sorry, I'm drawing the blank for the CNC machine. You have to use the proprietary software, or you have to use a third-party software, but you need to have internet access or whatever. This is different. This requires you to go to their website, to their thing. Now, there was an older model that did do a third-party software you could load on your computer and use it, but the new versions just don't do that. But, again, not being a spokesperson for them, I'm just saying that I could be completely wrong, but women on the phone said, I'm sorry, you need internet service. This has no value without internet service. Which, I mean, that's not, 20 years ago that might have been an issue. 15 years ago that might have been an issue, but not anymore.
There again, if I'm where you're talking about, I'd be fishing and not playing with cutting paper anyway. So.
For me, I know exactly what you see. I'm up at the camp, and you know what I end up doing is doing the things you want to do in the camp, and then I grab, and I'm an artist, then I'll grab out my notepad and I'll start drawing or doodling or coming up with ideas or something, coming up with plans for some shells or something, and you force yourself to be creative like that, and not having it there's probably a benefit,
This is true.
So how many people on the panel have YouTube channels that they post to? 2 of us? 3 of us? Braxton does?
Braxton does. Dave Gatton does.
Tommy does.
Yeah, Tommy does.
Even though he's still framed, but that's yeah, I'm just kind of curious because, like I say, now that I'm hitting my anniversary, I watched some of my first few videos, and it was interesting to see the reason I got into it and why 5 years later is the reason really changed. Okay. Sort of like a show and tell, or is it more of a, hey, I'm there to help, or there to help me? And that's kind of interesting. If anyone who's posted it, look at the first few videos, and I was thinking about the reason why, I started doing those and why. And, for me, I don't think that's changed, and I think that might be the reason why, I'm having some of my limited success with it. So.
I watched my first few YouTube videos, and it scares the hell out of me.
Was your beard much shorter?
No, it's just that they were horrible. Yeah, and I'm still not good at it. Trust me. It's one of those things you have to learn how to do. The hardest part I've ever had was talking. See, now, like right tonight, I'm talking live with all y'all. I'm interacting. I'm fine. When that camera's sitting over there just by itself, I kind of like get this look on my face. So it's like, but anybody else have any other questions, guys? Over there, or I'm watching over there in the chat section. Do y'all have any?
I was just going to say, when it comes to talking into the camera, I didn't have too much problem getting adjusted to it because I'm used to talking to myself anyway. So.
I only talk to myself around.
Yeah, we've had a lot of people saying that, like a lot of people over here, Chris, saying that they were like I am, like, wow, you can do all that much with the Cricut and everything. So a lot of good response. Al Fort's over there, Wacky Woodworks, Summers Woodworking, Jim Bashirs, I believe, is over there. All those guys over there. 44 people watching right now, so like great. Any other questions? If y'all have any questions over there in the chat section, now's the time to ask.
They were asking over there if it's better to find a newer model or an older model of that machine.
I like the newer one because you can cut thicker material. I got rolls of cork material, and I had made a box that was just non-standard size, and I put the exact dimensions of the inside of that box in the machine, and it cut out a perfect rectangle of cork. And I did a circle as well for the bottom of a cup. I do tech support on the phone. So I have a pen container. I throw the pen in, and it's like this terrible metal sound every time I throw my pen in there, and I think everybody hears it. So I cut out a perfect circle that fit in the bottom of my pen holder with the Cricut machine with roll cork pens. And now I'm using that cork for a lot of things, a lot of reasons. Like even I have a little box I throw some tools in, and I made a perfect square to fit in the bottom of the box so it doesn't dent it all up and everything. So, but anyways, it's something that the newer machine can cut the deeper, thicker material.
Yeah, that was Donna Presley was saying, the older or newer model. So the newer model, guys, obviously is probably the better one to get, the newer model. And Dave just said they're like on sale right now on the website. Didn't you say $241? I think it was, Dave.
Yeah, $241.21, I think it was.
Well, that's for that machine and what you can do with it, that's a fantastic price. Matter of fact, when I get off of here, y'all don't keep me too long. I'll go order one.
Hey, Russ, Rick Hutchinson asked, do all Corel files need to be run through the internet to get them to work on this machine?
Chris, you know Corel Draw, correct?
Yeah, I do Corel Draw, and I use Corel Video Studio for my video.
Can you upload that Corel file right to and make that Cricut machine work?
An SVG file is an SVG file. As long as it's SVG, and there's some other graphics it'll take, but it recognizes any SVG.
Well, when you say SVG now,
vector graphic.
Yeah, vector. I understand that, but Inkscape uses a .svg. Corel Draw uses a .cdr, if I'm not mistaken, but it still will recognize the Corel Draw file as.
You just say save as SVG. You can save it in whatever you want. With using the full Corel Draw, it gives you every option. And
okay.
And now the newest software that came out, you can do any picture and it will convert it to a sizable graphic. So if you, like that Jimi Hendrix one was a good one. That was just a black and white graphic. That wasn't a vector. So I put it in there, and it converted it and made it huge. And then I reduced the size down. But I didn't draw that. It was just a picture I found on, like those trees, like that tree line. And it was a cool tree line. What I did is I just did a tree line silhouette. I pulled it up. I could have brought it right into Corel Draw and then convert it. But now with the new software that they have, it converted it for me. It's easy to do.
See, now that's fantastic. If it'll actually take and convert it for you over the internet into their software, that is, I mean, that right there makes that machine twice as powerful and twice as good, just because it can do that.
I sold some recently, and I made little pouches with material. And what I did is I literally cut one out, and I put that on my scanner and scanned that pattern into it. And now, when I want to sew up a little pouch for a pen or a bottle stopper, I can put whatever fabric I want in there. It'll cut the fabric like a charm. I sew it up. It's easy. Well, not that I like to say sew, but I do know how to sew, I guess.
Hey, no. Let me tell you. When I grew up in my household, my mother, we didn't not have any girls. We were all boys. And my mother taught me to sew. My mother taught me to cook, And I am absolutely very thankful that my mother taught me those things. When my first wife got killed, I had 2 little girls that I raised by myself for over 5 years. And had she not taught me how to do some of those things, I don't know that I could survive. So when a man says he can sew, I add it to one of the things that he's a woodworker.
I can sew. Mama taught me how to crochet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mama and Grandma taught me how to quilt.
Yep.
I'm not perfect at it, but I can do it.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's not a feminine thing. If you rip the crotch out of your pants and can take a needle and thread and sew them back together again, well, hey, more power to you, you know.
That's how I had to learn how to sew. Was my mom taught me, and I'd rip my pants, I'd have to sew them myself. But yeah, I love knitting. I knit all the time. I knit beanies and stuff. It's fun.
I learned the wrong reason though. Because back in school, they said, "All right, Chris, you have a choice. You can take wood shop, or you could take home ec." And I said, in wood shop, there's a bunch of dudes that are making stuff that I don't really know. In home ec, there's a bunch of pretty girls, and I get to cook and hang out with attractive women. I'm in. So I learned how to sew. And I hung out with the best good-looking girls in school, and I got to cook with them. Even one girl wanted me to help measure her. Believe me, I did not miss wood shop. As much as I would have liked to take wood shop, I love home ec. I took it 6th grade right through to 12th. And I learned how to sew, and I learned how to cook there.
There's always somebody that's going to be able to teach you how to use a skill saw. There's not always the opportunity to measure a chick.
I thank God for my mom. My mom, she was wonderful. Wacky Woodwork said over, a SVG file is an open format type of file. So, yeah, that's great. Looking over there, so that answers Rick Hutchinson's question. Anybody? Tommy, you've been quiet tonight. Russ, you've been quiet. John, you've been quiet. Y'all got any questions?
Well, I missed the whole front of the show. I'm sorry about that. I had somebody come that I wasn't expecting, and well,
you know, he
brought. I will. He brought that Cricut out, and my wife actually looked at that real hard, and decided to go with the Silhouette instead of the Cricut, because she said that there was a monthly fee I think you had to pay them, or they had to use their software or something like that, and she'd rather not do it that way, and I didn't know if that had been brought up before. That's why I was wondering.
No, and what, as a matter of fact, the thing is that if you're designing your own stuff, it doesn't matter. But with Cricut, you have certain ones that are free and certain designs that are prefab that like tens of thousands. I mean, there's a huge amount. But instead of me paying $10 a month, I paid the $89 once, and for 1 year I have unlimited access to, most of their designs. But yeah, you make a good point. The Silhouette. There's a really good video on YouTube that's called Cricut versus Silhouette, and the winner ended up being this only because of the thicker cutting. Somebody was cutting leather with the Cricut, and I was really impressed. They would cut leather, suede or whatnot, and it just slightly beat it out. But they made really good points. And in a perfect world, well, you'll have both. You'll have a car and a truck.
So just so I understand this, if you have the Silhouette, does that mean you don't have to have internet access to use it?
Can't speak on their behalf. I don't know that.
And are they comparably priced?
Yes, because in the coupons they say no 40% off here for your Silhouette or your Cricut. So, but it's it's decided to buy PC or Mac or Pepsi or Coke. It's just two things that do the same.
Donna Presley wanted, Wacky Woodwork said SVG is an open format, and Donna wanted to know, what do you mean by open format? Open format means that it is a file that can be used across multiple programs. In other words, it's a standardization like a PFD, portable document file. It can be used across multiple programs. They will understand it, and so that's all that means. Is Corel Draw uses SVG files, so to speak. Even though they have the CDR, that's their own personal little file, but it's still an SVG. Inkscape uses it. Several other uses the SVG format.
The JPEG format on a picture. It doesn't matter what software, it'll open it.
Yeah, like well, actually, as far as I knew, when we first started out, a lot of the pictures, all the cameras were taking only JPEG. That was the format to use, but JPEG was a standardization because the multiple formats of what cameras would use, just like the SVG file is. So I hope I answered that question. Anybody else?
Well, any questions I've had have really been answered. I mean, this really opens up a whole new world. You know, I've seen these Cricuts around for years, and you know, it's always kind of curious. I mean, what are they just cut vinyl, or what do they do, or cut paper, or what do they do? But you opened that all up, Chris. I mean, I appreciate all the information you brought forth. It's been quite a ride here tonight.
I agree. I mean, I'm sitting back when I talked to Chris, he was like, well, what do you want to do on your show? And I was like, well, I'm kind of leaving it up to you. I'd like to do some kind of tool. And he goes, then he come back with the Cricut, and I got to thinking, wow, I've been wanting to buy one of those Cricuts. So, yeah, do the Cricut. And I had no clue that it was going to be this versatile. This is it. This opens up, just like John said, a lot of avenues for a lot of things using that little machine.
I keep saying that my X-Carve, I have to work on constantly, and I got to tune it up, and I have trouble with it, and I just wanted to cut. And when I go here, try and true, it's going to cut all the time. I don't have to set it; I just do it, and it makes it, you know, it just makes it enjoyable. And I think that's the one thing is that when you get something that's repeatedly, you know, you learn a couple tips to it, but it's just like anything. It's, you know, when I had it for 6 months before I realized that I could put a pen in it, and it could literally. I got white ink on black paper, and I was making a sign, that, you know, for like work or something like that. And I really thought about it. I'm like, geez, I could create any font on the computer, and I got like 10,000 fonts on the computer. Any font, any color paper, any color pen, and it'll print out perfect script or whatever you want. And I was like, it just opened, even just 6 months ago, I just opened up the idea of, oh, I could do this, I could do that, or, you know, so it's like I was making tags for a thing at work, and I make these signs up for it, and I'm like, and she wrote the name down, and she's like, you got really good handwriting. I'm like, yeah, I did the Cricut did it, so.
That's great. Anybody else? We're winding down, yeah. We went over, we're 9:30, 35. We still got 40, I've got still 42 people watching, so we still got plenty of people watching, but if there aren't any more questions, anybody over there in the chat wants to ask anything? I'm looking over there. Anybody see anything over there in the chat? Dave, my man, you're watching over there. You see anything over there?
Did I hear you say that we'll cut thin veneers?
Yeah, and I've seen a video on YouTube where somebody was cutting those veneer paper, you know, veneer wood, and was explaining about how you have to do it with the wood grain, and I guess, you know, I can see some possibilities making like bookmarks and things like that, but I don't know. People don't read books much anymore, so. Yeah.
Every time I look across over you at that desk and see Spock sitting there, I want to go, live long and prosper, my friend. Yeah. Live long.
But this is more like it.
Yeah.
I like this one here. I thought that one came out kind of nice.
Yeah, that looks awesome. All right, if we are winding down and there is no more questions, I would like to. And he disappeared. Braxton, where the heck are you? Don't walk away from me. I would like to say one thing. If nobody has noticed tonight, I did. Braxton, where the heck is your hair?
I shaved it all off for the St. Baldrick's charity. So I raised money for it's organization that supports childhood cancer research. So I got a bunch of donations, and I built some things for a silent auction and auctioned those off. So all the money went to that charity. And one thing you do is you shave your head to kind of show support for the kids who are going through chemo or whatnot. It was a lot of fun, and I got a haircut out of the deal. So
Yeah,
good time.
Let's hear it for Braxton.
Yeah.
I couldn't help I couldn't help but notice because it kind of looked like me. He's all hair from down here, but clear over something.
Well, I had followed his Facebook post and not YouTube, but
Instagram.
Instagram. Yeah, I'll get it out there in a second. I'm getting old and gray, so I forget. But Instagram, and I knew you were doing that. And when I looked over tonight and seen you on the chat, I kept on thinking, I want to bring it out. I want to bring it out. And finally, when we walked down to the end, I was like, all right, I'm going to say something. So, Braxton, I commend you, my friend. That is fantastic. A wonderful thing you did for a wonderful charity, and I can't say thank you enough from me to what you have done. So, and everybody, I applaud you, man.
It was fun. It was nothing for me. I don't mind doing it at all. It was a lot of fun. So,
well,
this is my second year, and I'm gonna keep on going. So,
little things like that can make a difference in a lot of people's lives. So, and I really appreciate that, and I thank you for doing it.
Hey, no problem.
So, Chris, do you have anything else before we end?
I got to tell you, I really had a great time. I appreciate you asking, and I enjoyed showing and telling, and everybody who watched. And I really did have a great time explaining it, and kind of, like I say, my reason for making videos is that people go, I could do this, or I could try that, or I like how he did that. So I feel that was success. Success is kind of throwing some ideas out there. It might make you. Because me, my life promises I want to make sure that people are artistic and creative. I don't care what they're doing, whether they're sewing, knitting, cooking. If you can be creative, if you can be artistic, then you're adding something to the world.
I couldn't say it better. And yes, fantastic. Thank you for being here tonight. Sorry to all y'all who are watching. There's going to be 2 of these, actually. I started the first one and rambled on because I didn't know what the heck. There's 3 of them out there. I thought I was going 3. There's 3 of them out there. Well, I'm going to delete a couple of them. I know for sure, but and I'm really sorry for. Once again apologize to you, Chris, and all you guys on the panel and everybody out there watching. I have no clue. I have done this before. It's not like I'm stupid or something. Well, sometimes people will think I am, but that being said, and it just nothing I did worked, and I was sitting here pulling my hair out.
I assume there's 3 because there's 2 I went to and 2 of them got removed.
I don't know. There was a lot of problems out there, so it's like we made it. We're here, and the rest of the show was fantastic, all due to Chris. So thank you very much, and yeah, we had a blast and learned a lot. Thank you very much, my friend.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So if nobody else has anything else, and I just want to toot my horn one more time to say, if you weren't here in the beginning, go check out my new website. And thanks to Frank and everybody over at Devobel, they have built me a brand new website. I couldn't be more happier. They have come on and are going to be my permanent sponsor. I am very thankful to them. It's Devobel Enterprise. I think it's VobelEnterprises.com. I'm going to mess this up before I know. But anyway, Devobel.com, I believe it is. So I appreciate that. Also, does anybody else have any announcements? I'm trying to think if there's anything else I should announce.
Yeah, I think there's one thing you're missing that we do try to do with new guests every week. The Woodshop Confessions.
Oh, thank you very much, John.
Sorry, Chris.
No, that's very good. Yeah, Chris, and I think I forgot that last week or whatever. Usually we go on, and I'm going to lock it on Chris. Usually we talk to people. It's Woodshop Confessions time. What is the most boneheaded thing that you've done in your shop that would make us laugh, and afterwards you said, why the heck did I do that?
I was on my miter saw. I was cutting a full 3-inch PVC pipe, and I was holding it, and I went to bring it down, and the little cover, the plastic cover, hit the blade and busted it in pieces. As a matter of fact, there was one shard that was stuck in the ceiling. I have what is it, fiberboard, and it was stuck right in the ceiling. There was a piece in the back. I cannot believe I didn't get hurt. There were shards. It was like I was like ready to take cover, and it happened like in a blink of an eye. It was like whoa. And now, as you see, just last week, I got myself a new miter saw after using it without a blade guard all those years. But yeah, I don't know why I was thinking I could cut this big, huge. It had to have been at least 3 inches. Boom, man! So you go. Let's just say, hold on to everything secure and don't have that blade guard up. It was just. I just thought of that because I just got my new miter saw. So.
Well, that's great. So now I'm going to bless you that you won't have any more accidents in your shop again.
Well, I appreciate that. Physical.
Take that with a grain of salt, Chris.
No. Now, Donald, you cut your finger, but you haven't had an accident since.
Yeah, I did a couple of weeks ago. I was playing and about took my arm off.
Well, that wasn't
not even your blessing can help that guy.
Because, I said that wasn't because of my blessings. That's because you screwed up.
This is true. But isn't that one of them things that happens in your shop? What was that?
Hey, if I told we'd be here all night of many things that after I did it, I was like, yeah, we won't go into that. Tommy, you wanted to say something or said something.
I was just saying, even your blessings can't help him.
Yeah. Even my blessings can't help Donald. No, they can't. Guys, we're going way over.
Hey, Chris, you sure you don't have anything else to talk about? Because you know Russ always tries to sing when he ends the show.
Are you saying you don't want
We're trying to stall.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Actually, I have a little something special tonight. I changed my song. Yeah.
James's pen challenge, everybody. We got it still going on. James Green, Stress-Free Woodworks pen challenge.
Yes, James Green over at stressfreewoodworking.com, I believe it is, or Stress-Free Woodworking on YouTube. Am I correct, guys?
Woodworks.
Stress-Free Woodworks. Okay, thank you. He's still doing his pen challenge. I want to tell you, I have been procrastinating because I've had so many things on my plate lately. I still haven't turned my pen for him or the veterans. He's turning pens to give to the veterans that are not veterans. I say veterans, to the enlisted men that are overseas that are actually in the line of duty right now. So go check it out. If you cannot donate a pen, he actually has a GoFundMe account. I don't know if it's under Stress-Free Woodworks or James Green, but where you can donate money, and he will also help pay for the shipping from the pens that he gets. So that's the next thing up. I'd love to sit here and talk all night. I'm in a happy mood tonight. I'm having a good time. So, but unfortunately, go ahead.
I was filming my video today for James. So.
Great. I've got till the 24th. Today's the 19th. I'll probably turn mine Monday or Tuesday, which will give me a day or so to edit and post it by the 23rd or 24th. As long as it gets done, that's all that matters, right? Yeah, that's good. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate for being on the show tonight, and you opened up a whole new avenue. Thanks for what you've done. Thanks to Katie Dotson, Ron Alfort, Donna Presley, Chris Martin, my sponsor Frank Condon, I think he was over there, all you guys over there on the chat section. I appreciate all of you. Without you, this wouldn't be possible, because this is the only reason I'm doing it. It's because of all y'all. Thanks to Braxton, Chris, Dave Gatton, Donald, John, Russ Meadows, and Tommy G. I appreciate all of y'all being on the show, everybody watching and listening. Thank God and God bless to you all. And here's the new one. When the sun comes a-peeping into where I'm sleeping, it's out to the shop I go, just making lots of sawdust, getting covered from head to toe. Oh, I love sawdust. Planing is for me. Just making piles of sawdust makes me happy as can be. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Woo! Good night.
I'm trying to find my mouse to turn this thing off, and it quit working. I'm serious. My mouse won't work. I can't turn it off. We're going to be here all night.
Right, we couldn't get you online, now we can't get you offline.
You know, you can be replaced.
I've been told